If you're lucky enough to live in the San Juan Islands, then you're fully aware of the beauty that surrounds you. But you may not be aware of how human activity can have a much greater impact on small islands than on larger land masses. That's because islands are different. They're like miniature worlds all their own. Islands frequently have many of the same plants, animals, and habitats found on the mainland, only in much smaller quantity. That isolation and smallness is what makes islands charming, but it's also what makes them so vulnerable. Islands are surrounded by water. That's obvious. That's what makes an island an island. Less obvious is that islands have proportionally more shoreline than any other kind of landform. Beaches and their adjacent water, therefore, play an enormous role in the natural balance of an island. If an island's coastal habitat isn't healthy, the environmental health of the entire island will slowly begin to break down. Island shoreline not only plays a significant role in island health, it plays a significant role in the health of the surrounding water. The beach provides a vital link between natural processes on land and natural processes in the water, and we may not appreciate how interconnected they really are. San Juan County has more miles of shoreline than any other county in the United States. With so much shoreline, these islands provide a significant amount of habitat for all the little fish that feed the salmon, seabirds, and marine mammals that inhabit the Salish Sea. But when we alter our natural shoreline, we eliminate places for those fish to eat, grow, and deposit their eggs. With fewer small fish to feed on, larger predators like salmon, seabirds, and even larger marine mammals like orcas begin to disappear, disrupting an ecosystem that's been in a delicate balance for millions of years. And with so much more shoreline per acre on an island, you'd be amazed at how quickly the things we do farther inland can affect the waters that surround us. That's because anywhere you go on an island, it's always a short downhill run to the sea. So islands can't absorb problems the same way the mainland can. Runoff from septic tanks and paved surfaces quickly pollute the surrounding waters, and pollutants like animal waste and fertilizer can reach the ocean without benefit of much ground filtering. This can kill fish and aquatic plant life, cause toxic algae blooms, and contaminate shellfish populations. Another problem is the introduction of non-native or invasive species to the islands. When an invasive species is introduced on the mainland, it might push a native species out of one area, but it generally survives in other areas. It's not so easy to escape an island invasion. When you hear the words invasive species, you might think of pythons or killer bees. But here in the San Juan Islands, the biggest problem is ornamental plants. They might seem harmless in your backyard, plants like laurel and holly and ivy, but they can spread rapidly in these islands, wiping out native plants and ecosystems in their path. Which brings me to my final point. Because islands are isolated and fragile and small, even modest conservation efforts carried out on an island can yield big results for both land and sea. Acre for acre, protection on a small island can have a greater benefit than protection of much larger parcels on the mainland. And it's not only the plants and animals that benefit. All of us, whether we're residents or visitors to these islands, rely on a healthy marine environment for our food, for our local economy, and for our island way of life. Islands are different. Let's keep them that way.